High blood pressure in older adults isn't just a natural part of aging. It's not random, and it's not a punishment from your body. In most cases, it's the result of small, daily habits that have built up over the years. Habits you may not even notice. It's not just about what you eat, but also about what you do, or fail to do, every single day. These little details, repeated over time, are what gradually put more strain on your blood vessels and your heart. Many people believe they're managing it well because they take their medication regularly. But the truth is, if your daily habits are still fueling inflammation, your medication is only doing part of the work. It's like trying to put out a fire by spraying water on one corner while the flames keep spreading in the background. High blood pressure doesn't usually show up with a loud warning. It builds quietly, slowly. And that silence is what makes it dangerous. If you're watching this video, it's not by accident. Something inside you wants to understand your health better. And before we go any further, I want to ask you something important. If this content resonates with you, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. That small action helps this message reach more people who need to hear it. Let's keep going. High blood pressure doesn't always come with dramatic symptoms. In fact, many people don't even know they have it until it's already caused some damage. You may feel tired for no reason, have trouble sleeping, feel heaviness in your legs, or wake up with pressure behind your eyes or in the back of your head. These are often dismissed as normal for your age, when in fact, they can be clear signals that something is out of balance. Over time, your body tries to adapt to poor sleep, stress, poor eating habits, lack of movement. But eventually it can't keep up. Your heart starts to work harder. Your arteries become less flexible. The pressure inside you rises, even when you're sitting still. And the worst part is that it happens so gradually that you don't realize what's going on, until something serious happens. That's why this video is so important. Because today, we're going to talk about the 3 most common mistakes that are silently making your blood pressure worse, even if you're doing everything right. Mistakes that don't look like mistakes. Habits that feel normal. Routines that feel safe. But they're not. You're going to learn what's really behind the pressure. You'll understand why medication alone isn't enough. And you'll gain real, practical ways to support your body without extreme diets, without complicated exercise routines, and without fear. Because yes, even after 60, 70, or 80 years old, your body still wants to heal. It still wants to find balance. And it can, if you give it the right support. The first mistake that many older adults make, often without realizing it, happens right at the start of the day, with breakfast. Seems harmless. It's what you've always done. A slice of white bread with butter or margarine, maybe some cheese, a hot cup of coffee, perhaps something sweet like jam, a cookie, or a piece of cake from the night before. And then the day begins. Feels simple, traditional, familiar. But that kind of breakfast may be quietly pushing your blood pressure higher every single morning. Let's look at what's actually on that plate. White flour causes a rapid spike in blood sugar, which stresses your metabolism. Margarine and processed cheeses contain saturated fats and sodium that stiffen your arteries. Coffee, especially on an empty stomach, activates the nervous system and can trigger a pressure surge. And sugar, whether in your jam, sweetened yogurt, or baked goods, inflames your blood vessels and contributes to long-term cardiovascular stress. One single breakfast like this might not do much. But if you eat this way every day for years, your body starts to feel the consequences. People often say, "But I've always eaten like this, and I was fine." Maybe that was true 20 years ago. But the body changes. After 60, digestion slows down, arteries become more sensitive, and your nervous system is less tolerant to spikes in blood sugar, salt, and caffeine. What didn't bother you at 40 can cause trouble at 70. And if you're waking up tired, feeling heavy after breakfast, or needing a second cup of coffee just to feel alert, it might not be age. Might be your breakfast. So what can you do instead? You don't need a radical change. Start with small adjustments. Swap white bread for oats or whole grains. Add a boiled egg or half an avocado. Choose fresh fruit over processed sugar. Try a mild herbal tea instead of strong black coffee, or at least wait until after eating something solid. These changes won't just lower your blood pressure, They'll give you longer-lasting energy, better digestion, and a calmer start to your day. Breakfast sets the tone for everything that follows. If it's full of salt, sugar, and stimulants, your body starts the day already under stress. But if it's rich in fiber, nutrients, and hydration, your system feels supported from the first hour. It's like choosing between starting your morning with a storm or with steady sunlight. And no, you don't need to be perfect, just more aware. Because sometimes, the biggest difference in your blood pressure doesn't come from a doctor's office. Comes from what you put on your plate before 9 a.m. The second common mistake among seniors with high blood pressure isn't about food. It's about what's missing from your day. Movement. Many older adults believe they're not sedentary because they do things around the house, walk to the corner store, or move from one room to another. But that's not enough. The body, especially as it ages, needs intentional, rhythmic movement to stay healthy. It needs circulation, flexibility, muscle activation, and oxygenation. Without movement, blood slows down, the vessels lose elasticity, and the pressure quietly builds. Spending most of the day sitting, even if you do a few tasks here and there, is one of the habits that silently pushes your blood pressure higher. The heart works harder, lymphatic flow slows, and the nervous system remains tense. And it becomes so normal that you barely notice. You wake up stiff, feel bloated after lunch, or experience heaviness in your legs by the afternoon. But those aren't just signs of age. They're signs that your body isn't moving enough to regulate itself. And no, we're not talking about exercise. You don't need a gym or a fitness plan. What your body needs is gentle, consistent activation throughout the day. Walk for 10 minutes in the morning. Stretch your arms after meals. Rotate your shoulders while watching TV. Roll your ankles, flex your feet. Take deep breaths. These simple gestures, repeated regularly, can improve circulation, help the body release tension, and reduce blood pressure naturally. Movement also helps emotionally. It lowers stress hormones, clears your mind, and boosts mood. It breaks the mental fog and improves sleep. A still body often holds in frustration and anxiety without realizing it. But once it begins to move, even gently, it begins to release. If you've been feeling more tired than usual, if your digestion is sluggish, or your joints feel stiff, maybe the solution isn't another pill or another nap. Maybe your body is just begging to be used. Because movement isn't just about strength or flexibility. It's about connection. It's your body reminding you, I'm still here. Please don't forget me. Even a 5-minute walk in your living room. Few slow shoulder rolls in your chair. A short stretch before going to bed. These tiny moments of movement can be more powerful than you think. You don't need more effort. You need more presence. A body in motion supports a heart in balance. The third mistake is especially dangerous because it often comes disguised as a healthy choice. Consuming light, low-fat, sugar-free, or diabetic-friendly products, thinking they're better for your heart or your pressure. In reality, many of these processed foods are filled with chemicals, artificial sweeteners, preservatives, and altered fats that do more harm than good. And the worst part, people consume them with confidence, thinking they're helping their bodies, when in fact they're fueling the problem. Take fat-free yogurt, for example. It often contains high levels of added sugar or synthetic sweeteners that disrupt the gut and raise insulin levels, indirectly affecting your blood pressure. Healthy cookies labeled for diabetics may contain refined flour, hydrogenated oils, and artificial flavors that spike inflammation and confuse your metabolism. These foods may not feel heavy, but they quietly strain your system. And because the label says fit or for seniors, people eat more. It's light, so I can eat 3. It's sugar-free, so it's safe. But your body doesn't care what the label says. It reacts to what's inside. Another issue is taste dependence. These processed products alter your sense of flavor. They make real, natural foods taste bland. So you stop enjoying fresh vegetables or unsweetened fruit. Your body begins to crave the artificial intensity of sweeteners, sodium, and additives. And that craving drives habits that worsen blood pressure over time, even when you think you're making good choices. The solution is not restriction. It's reconnection. Eating real food again. Simple meals with few ingredients you can recognize and pronounce. Steamed vegetables with olive oil. Homemade soups. Brown rice, oats, fruits, natural cheese, or fermented foods like kefir or sauerkraut. These are the kinds of choices that support your cardiovascular system, reduce inflammation, nourish your microbiome, and help your nervous system relax. If your pantry is full of boxes, bags, and labels promising health but packed with ingredients you can't even pronounce, maybe it's time to ask, am I eating something real, or just something that looks safe? You don't need to be a nutritionist. Just become more curious. Ask what this food is really made of, how it was created, whether it's helping or hurting your heart. Because sometimes the food that says light is actually quite heavy. On your blood vessels, on your liver, on your energy. And when you choose real food again, your body doesn't just feel lighter. Starts to heal. One of the most overlooked factors when it comes to high blood pressure in seniors is sleep. Many people believe they sleep well simply because they spend several hours in bed. But sleeping isn't the same as resting. You can sleep 8 hours and still wake up tired, heavy, or foggy. True rest requires quality, depth, and rhythm. And when your sleep is broken, shallow, or restless, it quietly disrupts your cardiovascular health, especially your blood pressure. During deep sleep, the body enters a state of repair. The nervous system slows down, blood pressure drops naturally, breathing deepens, inflammation calms, and the heart gets a break. But when your sleep is interrupted, by frequent awakenings, late meals, screen exposure, or internal stress, your body doesn't fully recharge. It stays in a mild state of tension through the night. And that tension builds. You may not remember waking up, but your pressure does. A major issue that often goes unnoticed is snoring. Loud, irregular snoring may be a sign of sleep apnea, a condition where your breathing pauses repeatedly through the night. These episodes reduce oxygen levels and create dangerous pressure spikes. Many people with untreated sleep apnea live with unstable blood pressure and don't even realize it. They just feel tired all day and assume it's just age. But poor sleep is not normal. It's not harmless. And it doesn't have to be your reality. The good news is that you can support your sleep without medication. Start by creating a quiet bedtime routine. Turn off screens at least an hour before sleeping. Dim the lights. Avoid heavy dinners late at night. Try herbal teas like chamomile or lemon balm. Stretch your body gently before bed. Read something peaceful. Create a dark, cool space that invites your body to let go of the day. If you wake up with headaches, racing thoughts, a tight chest, or morning anxiety, your sleep might not be truly restorative. Don't ignore that. Your blood pressure may be rising overnight while you lie still, and if that's happening every day, no medication will be fully effective. Sleep is not a luxury. It's not just about feeling rested. It's about giving your heart and your brain the calm they need to recover. And for people with high blood pressure, good sleep is as important as food or movement. So tonight, don't rush. Slow down. Disconnect from the noise. Breathe deeply. Because when your body feels safe, your pressure responds. Blood pressure doesn't only rise because of what you eat, how much you move, or how you sleep. It also rises because of what you feel, and what you've been holding inside for too long. Emotional pressure becomes physical pressure. Worry, grief, loneliness, fear, unresolved pain. These all trigger stress responses in the body. The heart doesn't just respond to physical effort. It reacts to thought patterns, memories, tension, and silence. A single anxious thought can raise your heart rate and narrow your blood vessels. Now imagine living that way every day without even realizing it. Many older adults have carried deep emotional burdens for decades. The loss of a loved one, the stress of caregiving, regrets, fears about health, guilt, resentment. Sometimes they've never been spoken aloud. But even if your mouth doesn't say them, your body hears them. Muscles tighten. Breathing shortens. The nervous system stays on high alert. And your blood pressure follows. Some people wake up with tension in their jaw or shoulders. Others feel a heaviness in the chest that they can't explain. These aren't just aging. They're signals. Signs that your heart is working under emotional pressure it hasn't been allowed to release. And no medication can ease what hasn't been expressed. Healing doesn't always mean therapy or big confessions. It starts with honesty with yourself, writing down what hurts, admitting what still feels unfinished, breathing slowly and allowing the emotions to rise, not to fight them, talking to a trusted friend or family member, letting tears fall if they need to, letting go of the idea that you always have to be strong. Sometimes simply being heard is enough for the body to release a little of the weight. Prayer, meditation, silence, music, nature, journaling, whatever helps you feel more connected to your own truth, will also help your heart soften. Because when your nervous system feels safe, your blood pressure drops. When your emotions are seen, your body doesn't need to shout through symptoms. And when you choose to stop carrying what no longer belongs to you, your heart has room to beat more freely. If your pressure remains high despite eating well and taking your medication, ask yourself, is there anything I've been suppressing? Is there grief or fear I haven't faced? The answer might not come quickly, but even the question is healing. Because sometimes lowering your pressure doesn't start with your blood, it starts with your heart. One of the most common silent mistakes made by older adults with high blood pressure is excessive coffee consumption. And to be clear, coffee itself isn't the villain. In moderation and in the right context, it can be harmless for many people. The problem is how it's consumed. Too often, too strong, and too early or too late in the day, especially on an empty stomach. Over time, these habits can overstimulate the nervous system, raise blood pressure, disrupt sleep, and exhaust the body. Many people over 60 begin the day with strong coffee, often before eating anything. Then they have another cup mid-morning, maybe one after lunch, and perhaps another in the afternoon to stay alert. Coffee becomes a routine, comfort, boost. But what's actually happening inside? Caffeine stimulates the adrenal glands, increases heart rate, and temporarily tightens blood vessels, all of which contribute to increased blood pressure. If the body is already under stress or inflammation, coffee can intensify that internal state, even if you don't feel it immediately. Another common issue is that many people use coffee to replace water. They drink several cups of coffee a day but barely drink plain water. This leads to dehydration, thickened blood, and additional strain on the heart and kidneys. Your body needs water to flush toxins, regulate pressure, and support organ function. Coffee alone can't do that, and in excess it can do the opposite. And let's not forget what usually accompanies coffee. Sugar, cookies, sweet bread, processed milk powders. These harmless extras cause sugar spikes, increase inflammation, and put more pressure on the cardiovascular system. So it's not just the coffee, it's the entire ritual that can become harmful over time. If you experience restlessness, trouble falling asleep, palpitations, or morning fatigue despite sleeping enough, your caffeine intake might be affecting your pressure more than you think. That doesn't mean you have to quit coffee forever, but it does mean becoming more intentional. Try limiting yourself to one small cup in the morning, after a nourishing breakfast. Avoid coffee after 2 p.m. Choose cinnamon or ginger tea, or calming herbal blends, for the afternoon. And hydrate, consistently. Your body will thank you with clearer energy, better sleep, improved digestion. And yes, lower blood pressure. Because sometimes it's not about what you add but what you reduce. And reducing caffeine might be the quiet shift your heart has been waiting for. Another silent mistake that many people over 60 make without noticing is spending too many hours sitting. Might seem harmless. After all, you're resting, reading, watching TV, eating calmly, doing crossword puzzles. What's wrong with that? The problem isn't sitting itself but how much you sit. When most of the day passes between chairs, couches, and beds, the body slowly loses its natural rhythm. And this lack of movement has a direct impact on blood pressure. Prolonged sitting slows down circulation. Blood tends to pool in the lower body. The muscles weaken. The lymphatic system becomes sluggish. And as this continues, the blood vessels lose elasticity, and the heart must pump harder to keep things flowing. You may not feel anything immediately, but over time, this stillness contributes to fatigue, swelling in the legs, digestive issues, and yes, elevated blood pressure. The danger is that the stillness feels normal. I'm retired, I've earned my rest, many say. And that's true, you do deserve rest. But rest isn't the same as stagnation. The body still needs gentle, intentional movement to stay balanced. And this doesn't mean exercise. It means breaking up the stillness. Standing up every 30 to 60 minutes. Rolling your shoulders. Rotating your ankles. Walking around the house for a few minutes. Lifting your arms above your head. Stretching your spine. These tiny acts, repeated throughout the day, stimulate blood flow, improve oxygen delivery, and keep your nervous system from getting stuck in a passive state. Movement doesn't need to be sweaty or exhausting to be effective. Just needs to exist. Also, don't underestimate the emotional benefits of moving. A little walk can shift your mood. Opening the window and breathing deeply can reset your nervous system. Gentle stretching can ease anxiety. Movement reminds your body that it's alive and safe. And that alone can help bring your pressure down. If you find yourself sitting for hours without changing position, if your legs feel heavy or your energy dips as the day goes on, your body may not need more coffee or more rest. It might just need more movement. Not intensity, just consistency. The goal is not to do more than you can handle. It's to do what your body still wants to do. Flow, stretch, move, breathe. Movement is life. And even 5 minutes of intentional activity every hour can help your pressure find peace again. One of the most underestimated contributors to high blood pressure in older adults is hidden salt. Not the salt you sprinkle over your food, but the salt already packed into processed products you eat every day without realizing. Bread, cheese, cold cuts, canned vegetables, instant soups, crackers, frozen meals, sauces, seasonings. These foods can be loaded with sodium, even if they don't taste salty. Your body needs some sodium to function, but too much of it draws extra water into your bloodstream, increases your blood volume, and forces your heart to work harder. Over time, this can stiffen arteries, promote inflammation, and raise blood pressure consistently. Many people say, "I don't use the salt shaker." But if your daily meals come mostly from packages, boxes, or jars, you're likely consuming more salt than your body can safely handle. The danger is in the accumulation. Slice of processed cheese here. Can of soup there. Some deli meat for dinner. By the end of the day, you may have doubled the recommended sodium intake, without even noticing. And your body pays the price with swelling, fatigue, pressure spikes, and long-term cardiovascular stress. The good news. It's reversible. Start by reading labels. If a product contains more than 1 gram of salt per 100 grams, it's considered high in sodium. Choose versions labeled low sodium, or cook your meals at home more often, using fresh herbs, garlic, lemon, vinegar, or spices to enhance flavor. These alternatives don't just reduce salt, they awaken your palate again to the real taste of food. Also, increase your water intake. Salt draws water into your tissues, but without proper hydration, your kidneys can't eliminate the excess. Drinking enough water throughout the day helps regulate pressure, flush out excess sodium, and reduce bloating or heaviness in the legs. If you're taking medication for high blood pressure but not seeing the results you expect, take a look at what's on your plate and in your pantry. Sometimes it's not what you add to your food, but what's already hiding inside that's keeping your pressure high. And no, it's not about bland food. It's about retraining your taste buds, regaining control, and choosing options that support, not sabotage your health. Because sometimes the real danger isn't the salt you see. It's the salt you've stopped noticing. After everything we've discussed, there's one important truth that must be said clearly. High blood pressure doesn't appear overnight. It's built over time. It grows silently with each habit, each overlooked detail, each moment when the body sends a signal and we choose not to listen. But just as it develops slowly, it can also be improved. Step by step, gently, without fear. Because it's never too late. Even at 60, 70, or 80 years old, your body can respond to change. It just needs a little support and a willingness to do things differently. Many people believe that once they start taking blood pressure medication, their responsibility ends there. But pills alone are not enough. They don't fix stress. They don't undo decades of poor sleep or processed food. They can't counteract a lifestyle that continues to harm the cardiovascular system day after day. And that's why some people see little progress, even with strong prescriptions, because the pressure isn't just in the numbers. It's in the routine. It's in the silence. It's in what we avoid changing. The solution doesn't have to be extreme. You don't need to transform your life in one day. But you do need to begin. With small choices. With simple steps. With questions like, is this helping my body or hurting it? Is this meal calming my system or triggering more inflammation? Is this silence I'm holding on to making me feel peaceful? Or is it weighing me down? Because sometimes, the most powerful thing you can do for your blood pressure has nothing to do with food or pills. Has to do with release. With breathing again. With trusting that your body still wants to heal. And giving it the space and care to do so. This message wasn't meant to scare you, it was meant to empower you. To remind you that healing is possible. That stability is within reach. That you still have choices. Real, impactful choices that don't require perfection. Just awareness. So if this content helped you understand your own health more deeply, don't keep it to yourself. Share it. Someone else may need it just as much as you did. And for yourself, start now. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Drink more water. Take a gentle walk. Adjust your breakfast. Go to bed earlier. Speak the words you've been holding in. Because sometimes the best way to lower your pressure isn't what you stop eating. It's what you finally decide to start doing, for yourself.